Hi, everybody, and welcome once again to another Spartan Sports Report here on TV3. I'm happy to have the Hall of Famer next to me tonight.
Thank you, thank you.
Sam, you were honored Wednesday night at the Spartans game with Union County. Quite an honor. You were brought the Indiana High School Athletic Association Commissioner to Condorsville, and that's quite a feat.
Yeah, it was, and you know, it's just very honored and humbled, Fran, to have been nominated and to receive the Distinguished Media Award for District 3. It's the southern 42 counties in the state. There are 3 districts, and I was chosen as one of the recipients. And you look at some of the names that have gone before, and one of them right here locally, Bob Powers.
Right.
And so I join him. Also, some of the others, when you look at the list, Hilliard Gates, Tom Carnegie, Jerry Baker,
Yes.
Dave Calabro, kind of a who's who. So to have my name on that same list is just quite an honor, and I was very humbled by it. I brought the plaque along.
Okay, I'm sure our viewers would like to see it.
So people could see that, and it is a very nice plaque, and I appreciate it so much. And I have to say that I believe that the commissioner and Jason Willey, the sports information director for the IHSAA, were very impressed with the crowd. Nearly a sellout at Spartan Bowl, Fran, and of course we always have a big crowd on that opening night.
Yes.
But I said to Commissioner Cox that Hoosier hysteria is still alive and well in Connersville, and he agreed.
I'm sure he did. Well, I spoke with Coach Brown before the ball game, and I said, you know, this game, Kerry, isn't just a basketball game; it's an event in Connersville.
That it is, and for the people of Union County also, they love coming over here, and they fill up that north end pretty well. In the bowl.
Sure do. You mentioned Bob Powers. He was the sports editor at the time of the News Examiner. The award is for newspaper, television, radio people.
It's media. Sports
and
media.
He was, I think, came into existence in the early 80s.
Yes, it did.
And I think Bob got it in 86, 87, along in there.
That's correct.
But it's quite a feat to have 2 guys from Connersville on
well,
that
and you
list.
know, my thinking on it, Fran, that we've had a lot of great people in the media here, you included, that certainly very deserving. We've had a lot of people over the years deserving of this award, and I just happened to be nominated for it, and very pleased, very proud. One thing too that made me very happy that you know, Kathy has been ill, and that was really her first outing. And she was able to join me out on the floor, and that meant so much to me.
I think, do we have a cut from that game? Let's check out right now, see what we can come up with.
You're lucky the glass was there, so we really need to try to get inside right there like that. Good.
There's Isaac missing the shot, rebounding, putting it up and in.
On that opening night, I thought
right on cue. You want to get inside right there.
They had that. I was impressed with Dylan Miller for them. He's a big boy, but Spartans played very well, Fran, and played as a team.
It was a great game. The defense was super in that ball game, and I guess. I know I mentioned during the telecast that the Spartans getting the lead took the Union County crowd out of the game, and I think that made a big difference.
Oh, I think it did too. And we know that Union County crowd can get into it and can be very loud and vocal.
Oh, absolutely. Grant Smith hit those threes right off the bat, and Spartans never trailed.
Yeah, they didn't. And you know, the great thing about Grant Smith, he can knock down those threes, but he can catch that alley-oop and dunk it also, and makes him a real threat. But you look at the rest of the team, you just got to like the chemistry that they have and the ability for these young athletes. And you know, in many ways, you look at the seniors that we lost, it could be a rebuilding year, but I think it's just a reloading year for the Spartans.
Well, I agree. Underclassmen, they did very well in that ball game.
Some of the students on hand, and it's good to see the fans in the stands getting into it. There's the old victory bell being brought out. They brought the victory bell out when I was in school there, when we went to high school in that building.
Spartans have a couple of ball games this weekend. They're playing Shelbyville on Saturday, Rushville on Friday. Rushville got off to a rocky beginning, though. They lost to Shelbyville in their opening game, 68-51. Shelbyville also won over Triton Central, 92-50. So their average offense right now is 80. So the Spartans defense is going to have to step up a notch.
Yeah, pretty high-powered offense there for the Golden Bears. And it's so nice to have Shelbyville back on the schedule.
Yes,
for a number of
is.
years. We didn't have them on the schedule, which used to be South Central Conference. And I remember during the Maulby and then the Dunnington years when we were in the South Central Conference that would be the last conference game of the year. And Shelbyville, during that time in the 80s, had very good teams, as did we, and it would come down to that game for the conference championship and would always be a sellout. But so it's nice to have them back, even though they're not a conference opponent, but it's nice to have them back on the schedule. And of course, on Friday night, we'll get to see the Rushville Lions. I love it when we play them too, and glad that we're in a conference with them again in the Eastern Indiana Conference.
It's great to be in the conference, and I don't know if Lawrenceburg's that good or just what happened in the opening game for the Lions, but they'll be ready to go Friday night.
Oh, yeah, it's, I'm sure it won't take much to get them up to come to Spartan Bowl and play.
That's going to be another quite a ball game. Another area of scores we might talk a little bit, Sam. Richmond went to Hamilton, Ohio, and lost 60-41. So I was surprised at that.
Yeah, but that doesn't make me unhappy at all. Anytime the Red Devils get beat, that's a good thing.
Centerville, another area team, lost to Eastern Hancock 50-35 and to Seton Catholic 66-58. So they're off to an 0-2 start. So, but the Bulldogs will get it straightened out, I'm sure. Union County, of course, lost to Connorsville, and they'll be playing Seton Catholic this week, I think, is their game.
Franklin County, a good matchup, Fran. With Seton Catholic coming off of that win and facing Union County, and I think that's one of those schools that we're going to see a lot more of, Seton Catholic.
And for a small enrollment, they field a good basketball team. They do well in sports, I think, and other ones too. Franklin County defeated Lawrenceburg 64-53. And Cambridge City, they're 2-1 right now. That's Rodney Klein's team. They won over Anderson Prep Academy 68-38, and Muncie Burris 63-51. They lost to Westdale 54-37. So those are some of the area teams, how they have done in the early going. The girls, Lady Spartans, are struggling.
Yes, they are. Very young team. Having been away from them because I missed a few games and coming back and seeing them play, I thought that they had improved. And I think, and I talked to Coach Thompson about that, and I think he's looking for steady improvement. I went down to Batesville last Tuesday night and watched them take on the Lady Bulldogs in a conference game. And while they lost, I thought that they had played a lot better than they did earlier in the season. So it's going to take some time, but I think Coach Thompson's got them headed in the right direction.
Oh, I agree. I agree. They lost to Batesville last week, 46-36, to Jennings County, 44-22. They've got a couple of games this week: Union County Wednesday night and Greensburg on Saturday afternoon. But I think they'll get straightened out here shortly. I was impressed too with their one win that we saw them play over Centerville, but. Coach Thompson keeps pointing out they have to keep the other team around 30 points or so. I mean, because his offense just can't generate much more than in the 30s, apparently.
Yes, and which means they have to play very good defense.
Yes.
And we've seen them play decent defense.
Oh, yes.
Got to keep their turnovers down, and every possession is going to count. They have to make the best of every possession.
We wish them the best of luck. Back to the IHSAA a little bit. Sam, I'm not sure I think people know what it is, but it's the association of all the schools in Indiana. It's a volunteer basis, I think. They kind of oversee the sports in high school, and there are 21 sports, 10 boys, 10 girls, 1 co-ed. The co-ed is track and field, I believe, but all the other ones like swimming and wrestling, basketball, football, volleyball for the girls, and gymnastics for the girls. But that's a big operation, and they estimate 160,000 kids are participating in Indiana high school sports this year.
That's a positive thing, you know, when you can get that many kids involved in whatever sport it is. That, and there are so many to pick from now, and more. You know, back when I was in school, the girls didn't participate in IHSA events. They had the GAA, the Girls Athletic Association, but it was more intramural. But now they've opened it up, and there are equal amounts of boys and girls playing in sports.
I think came in the mid-'70s when the girls...
I think 76 was maybe the first state tournament for girls.
Could be, yeah.
But,
yeah.
And that's come a long way.
Oh, it has.
But
yes.
IHSA, yeah, I believe you're right, is a volunteer organization. But if your school... and there's a lot of private schools, a lot of new schools coming up. If they want to participate in a tournament, in a state tournament, then they have to be members of the IHSAA.
Yes.
And there's, for new schools, I think there's a probationary period of a couple of years.
I believe so, yes.
Before they can play, of course, schools within the association, but before they're actually are tournament ready to play.
It's an interesting association, and they've been in business since 1903, I believe. So 100 and some years old. They've been supervising sports in Indiana, but every state has an association, I believe.
And they set the rules, the rules for the contest, the games or matches or whatever it is, and the officials, the referees, have to abide by the rules that are set. I believe there's a national organization too that the state organizations they don't necessarily have to adopt the same rules, but for some continuity.
I think so. Yes,
that they have conventions and conferences and establish those types of things.
On the college level, Hoosiers from Bloomington had a little rough trip west.
Yes, they did. And for we Hoosier fans, it's that was tough. Dropped a couple out there.
Yeah,
and
Hawaii. Yeah.
Turnovers was what's really hurting them. And you know, I forget they were ranked 13th or 14th.
Think so.
But there's certainly will drop in the polls if not drop clear out after losing a couple of those games. But speaking of the Hoosiers, though, big football game over the weekend up at Ross-Ade Stadium.
Yes.
Where the bucket, the old open bucket, stayed in Bloomington, and I was listening to the radio broadcast of that, and Don Fisher was saying that the Hoosiers had not held the bucket for 3 years since sometime in the 1940s. But so they have it for the 3rd year now.
And they're bowl eligible?
Yes, they are. So we'll have to wait and see where they go, who they play.
Should be a great season for them. I hope those guys, they've worked hard.
They have.
They have.
And they've been in some close games. Gave Ohio State everything they wanted.
Yes, they did.
And could have had a much better record, but I think they're on the right path. Coach Wilson doing a good job.
He is. Purdue will not be bowl eligible, but Notre Dame, even though they lost to Stanford, will not be in the championship team for the national championship. But I'm sure they'll go to a bowl.
Oh yeah, and a pretty high-profile bowl, just not one of the for the championship.
Right. What do you think of the JV team? And we need to talk about Saturday's game. The Spartans went on the road for the first time, went to Indy, Broad Ripple.
Yeah, my first trip into Broad Ripple, been up there for a football game, and nice facility and nice folks up there. Spartans trailed most of that game, and late in the game started to make a run. They had trailed by 9 and were able to cut it down to 1, and the bench for Broad Ripple, got a technical called on them, and Grant Smith able to knock down free throws, 4 in a row. He was already at the line and knocked down 4 in a row. Spartans got the ball back. Then there was an intentional foul called on Broad Ripple. So Spartans, after being down 46-41, end up winning that game 55-46. So quite a turnaround. But,
Yes.
did what they needed to do, hit the free throws in the closing moments of the game.
Broad Ripple, I was surprised that they were that tough on the Spartans.
They were lightning quick and
Okay.
Had some shooters and just able to get up and down the floor with the ball very quick and very quick on the outlet. So even though the score doesn't necessarily indicate, because it wasn't a high-scoring game, but both teams did not shoot that well, as I recall.
Okay.
Only shot in the 30s.
Okay, that's surprising me. I'm surprised we didn't control the tempo of the game more.
We seemed to run with them. But,
I see.
And,
Which is not.
we used our athleticism and our quickness.
It's really not a Kerry Brown trademark.
No, but seemed to work the other night.
Good. That's good. That's good. High school football wrapped up over the weekend, Friday and Saturday. They had the 6 playoffs. East Central going for the 4A title, sort of ran out of fuel.
Yeah, they did, and I had reported on the air the other night that they had won. I'd gone to maxpreps.com on my phone, and it showed that they had won when actually they had the score reversed, and they lost, so I felt kind of bad about that. But East Central had a nice season, though.
They did.
To be state runner-up in 4A.
Yeah.
They
ended,
were a nice team.
But Fort Wayne Ranger put it on them 27-3. That's, of course, the lowest score for East Central all season long. To be shut out, not getting to the end zone was just almost unheard of for the Trojans.
And I believe they led 3-0 at halftime. So just unable, as you said, to get in the end zone, and all of a sudden Dwenger came alive.
Just one of those games, I guess. East Central will be coming to Connersville the next football season. I hope they graduate all their team.
We were down there for their game, and you talk about reloading. It was junior, it was Pee Wee football night, I guess they called it, and they must have brought 1,000 little boys out there on that field. I mean, it was just covered. So I don't know where they all come from down there at St. Leon, but it certainly is a football school.
It must cover a big area, large area. Well, I think if you pointed out, Cincinnati people, I think, have moved into that area, and then
Sunman. The Sunman, people of Sunman, they go there. So it's spread out over a couple of counties.
Yeah, it's they have a good sports program, apparently.
They do, and nice facilities down there.
Yes, yes.
Another football game that I watched on Friday, I believe it was on Friday, that was New Palestine in their game, and that was a basketball score. I forget, it was in the 60s, and they just went back and forth, and New Pal had missed an extra point late in the game, and that really came back to hurt them because it escapes me now who they were playing.
I can't recall it, but it was a 5A championship.
It was 5A championship.
It was a 5A.
But it was a very interesting game, and a high scoring, not a lot of defense.
Apparently not. Get the football and take off. Wrestling for the Spartans, I believe they go to Hagerstown this week, I think, because they're getting off to a start. They went to Newcastle. I don't think they did very well in Newcastle. I don't think any of our kids did too well, so hopefully they can get that turned around and get it going. So there's some other events coming up in conjunction with the boys' game Friday night.
Yeah, and you want to get to Spartan Bowl early. The girls' basketball team will be hosting a spaghetti dinner Friday night prior to the boys game against Rushville, and it'll be in the middle school cafeteria there, just off the main hallway as you come in to the bowl. Cost is just $6, and $4 for children. For tickets, contact any Lady Spartan basketball player, or I'm sure you could call the athletic office at 825-2900, and they could give you more information. But,
and it'll be available at the door.
It'll be available at the door, and be a good time. So you want to get there early. Of course, JV contest starts at 6 o'clock with the varsity at 7:30. So get there. It says that they'll be serving from 5 to 7, so you want to make sure you get there and get your spaghetti.
Yeah, to help the girls program.
Yeah.
They use those funds for the program.
For the program, for equipment needs and probably uniforms and that type of thing. That, that costs a lot of money.
Yes, it does.
For all the sports to put on their, to have the equipment and whatever they need to perform and to do well.
So I'm hoping that the fans will turn out and you say go get your supper and then go to the Spartan games.
Some other things, another fundraiser that's going on, the CHS swim team in conjunction with the Centerville swim team. I might mention that the Centerville swimmers are coached by former Spartan Darren Ridenhour.
Yes, how about that?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Right. They're going to have a meet on December the 10th, and it'll be out at the CHS Auditorium, a dual meet. And between now and then, the Spartan swimmers are selling T-shirts as a part of the competition with the Centerville Bulldogs. T-shirts are just $10 and can be ordered through any swimmer on the CHS team. And the proceeds go to help fight cancer. It's their version of Coaches versus Cancer. So.
Daryl Drew, the swim coach, was on our program last week, and I try to remember exactly, but if the school that loses, somebody has to jump into the swimming pool. So I imagine Daryl Brent Duncan is probably out there sweating right now.
Yeah. So if you want to support the Spartans and support the coaches, get those T-shirts bought.
But that is a great thing, and we'll have one in basketball, and then they have one in football. So it's a wonderful cause, and we hope that the folks will support it as much as they can. Park is a little busy, I believe, with some. They keep a lot of things going at Roberts Park.
Yeah, they sure do, and there are a lot of people that play in these men's basketball leagues, and it's forming now, and they're accepting sign-ups for men's basketball league. Registrations will be accepted through December 18th. So you got just a little over 2 weeks to get that in. The cost per team is just $250, and the league is for men ages 16 and above. So you and I still have some eligibility left on that since we're 16 and above. Entry forms can be picked up at the Miller Center in Roberts Park, and teams will be limited to a 12-man roster. The season is set to start January 3rd, and all games will be played on Sundays. So if you want to know more, you can call 825-5244.
Yeah, that's a very popular league, I believe.
Oh, I think it is.
I think so.
And over the years, there have been some really good teams in that. Also, there's church league basketball, and the Parks Department is accepting sign-ups for that. Cost for that is just $175, and sign-ups, once again, on that one through December 18th. Teams are allowed to have 15 players, where on the other one it's 12. And all team members must be members of the respective church. The league is for men and women ages 16 and above, and entry forms can be picked up at the Miller Center. And once again, games will be played on Mondays beginning January 4th, and you can call 825-5244 for more information about that. So the men's league as well as the church league, and ought to be a lot of fun. And we got nice facilities for that.
They do a great job up there, making activities available for the people of the county and everything, and we hope that they take advantage of it. The JV team lost a tough one to Union County Wednesday night. How'd they do against Broad Ripple?
Well, they dropped another one at Broad Ripple, but you know, the young men are playing hard, and that's where they develop for the varsity. So while we like to see them win, I think the development and the learning is probably more important at this point than the wins. Now, Coach Bottomley may not agree with that, but I think some of what we saw the other night, Fran, was that some of their players, they wanted to save them so they had minutes in the varsity. And so they went to the tunnel and went to the locker room early. And I think that showed a little bit there in the late stages of the JV game.
They missed some crucial free throws, crucial free throws. But like you say, their job is to groom these guys for the varsity, and that's the reason they play so many players.
It is, and at that age, you don't always know who's going to step up and who's going to get better. So that's one way that they learn.
Yeah. And the freshman team, Tim Howard, I think, has those kids off to a pretty good start.
Well, Tim works hard with those guys, and he expects a lot out of them.
Yes,
and,
yes.
Got, speaking of freshmen, we got the Belt, the young man, Noah Belt, that has played in both varsity games as well as the JV games. So Timmy doesn't always get his freshmen on the freshman team because they're already playing junior varsity or varsity.
And I think the last year, Garrett Silcott was a freshman who played as a point guard. So again, he wasn't on the reserve team, and I'm sure Chris would like to have those youngsters.
Yeah, I'm sure he would. Yeah, you talk about Garrett, and you could see over the summer, and all these guys that we saw last year, that you can tell they've been in the weight room. You can tell that they've worked on their bodies because they've grown.
I was impressed with what I saw Wednesday night, and we wish nothing but the best for all the teams, the boys and the girls, and down at junior high level and everything. We hope that they all do well. Again, this week, a busy week for Lady Spartans and the Spartans. The boys will be playing on Friday and Saturday night. The girls play Saturday afternoon, and again Tuesday. I
kind of just look a week at a time, but I know we got a busy week next week on the road. This week they're all at home, and the following week most of them are on the road. Yeah,
they have the doubleheader here this week for the boys, which is a little unusual, but it's one of those scheduling problems that develops. But Friday and Saturday will be busy nights for the Spartans. Again, congratulations to you on your award.
Thank you.
Couldn't have been a better night with a full gymnasium, and I think Bobby Cox went away impressed with what happens here in Connersville.
I hope so. I think he did.
The gym looked beautiful.
Oh, the floor is great. Everything's clean and shiny, and working on the sound system, getting that improved.
Yes,
so a lot of good things going on.
And I know Brent Duncan has plans for the old center circle. He would like to install that, I believe, up in the walk area. I don't know how he's doing on that, but he was looking for somebody that could put that in the floor and people could walk over it.
And I think he'll get that done.
He'll get it done.
He'll have to wait till next summer now after basketball's over. But that'll be a neat addition to the corner of the gym.
And speaking of done, we're done.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us, everybody, on the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3.